practice, how have design sprints helped organizations to develop and validate ideas for new products and services? However, it's not only used for products. It has been used in these many years by many organizations to validate also processes, services, marketing strategies, business models, and many other use cases. I'm going to share with you some of the ones that are available online, and feel free to do your own research. But here are some of the ones that I find more meaningful to share to prove that actually design sprint can be used in any sector, in any company of any size. For example, the UK government, the UK Home Office, has used design sprint to answer the question, how might we help users that want to get a visa understand the option that applies to them? Uber has used design sprint to answer the question and solve the challenge of how might we help our Uber drivers so that they can complete the ride request safely and in time. Netflix has used design sprint when they were having challenges in user engagement because it was declining. Design sprint helped Netflix identify what they have to change in their interface so that the user engagement will not decline but increase. 3M, one of the brands of 3M is Post-it. 3M wanted to solve the challenge they were having between the digital divide between the analog world of Post-it and the digital. And with design sprint, 3M was able to identify ways to bring the digital world into the Post-it experience. They developed 2 applications, and actually one of them won several awards. In the telco industry, Swisscom and Telstra have actually decided to use design sprint with their own enterprise customers, and they run design sprints with their customers to help their customers find solutions fast for the challenges they're having. Dutch Telecom had a challenge that they approached with design sprints. They wanted to answer the question of how might we co-create digital solutions that improve quality of life for citizens by addressing key challenges in cities and communities. And by doing quarterly design sprint with German associations in towns and municipalities, they were able to come up with these ideas of digital solutions. Also, Dutch Telecom decided to use this sprint for internal processes. They actually use design sprint to improve the employee experience when engaging with IT support, particularly for support with problems with their devices or when setting up as employees. Then, companies like Nokia has used design sprint in different areas to improve digital experience and connectivity experiences. They have used design sprint to answer the question, how might we reduce congestion and improve crowd flow in the Nokia arena during peak times? Or also to come up with ideas about using 5G and immersive technologies to create engaging real-time experiences in the Nokia Stadium for both on-site and remote audiences. And finally, Nokia has also used design sprint to improve connectivity for remote workers. So the same company has used design sprint to solve many different challenges and come up with many different solutions to them. And they are not the only ones. Other use cases are the use cases of Slack and Headspace. Slack, for instance, both of them actually, have used them not to develop new products and services, but to identify product market fit and come up with strategies for their marketing. Slack at the time was in 2015 was having a challenge. It was mainly used by tech companies and tech users. So they used design sprint to come up with marketing communication ideas to be able to grow user taking of the service outside tech companies. And Headspace was willing to validate if it was worth pursuing Headspace services. Headspace is a mindfulness application for new audiences, in particular kids. Other companies have used design sprint to validate products and solutions in the hardware and physical space. Savio was releasing a robot that was going to be used in hotels, for instance, to deliver, toothbrushes and other goods to the guests. And they were concerned about how should the robot behave in a way that humans will not be rejecting it and actually will love it. So they ran a design sprint to come up with what would be an appealing behavior for a robot. Thanks to the design sprint, they identified what should be that robot personality. And after releasing the robots in some hotels in the States, they got quite good coverage by media outlets because of how successful and loved they were by the guests of the hotels. And Lego wanted to really reinvent the way they were reaching their audiences. And in a year, they ran 150 design sprints. And there are many other use cases. Johnson & Johnson has used it in a highly regulated area like pharma research. And the outcomes that they described from running design sprints was that they were able to identify risk much earlier, and they were able to learn in an accelerated manner. Google has used design sprint for many things, and particularly, for instance, to improve recruitment. Other ways to use design sprint has been to create business models. For instance, a business model for platform services. And even in healthcare, design sprints have been used to help aftercare for patients, for instance, of dialysis, and helping them gain access to pain treatments because of some stigma. Patients were not getting the post-treatment that they needed to deal with pain.